I want to so badly.
You want to have like a baking day?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have a baking day.
Okay. I want to bake so bad.
Yes. I did a lot of baking for Christmas. I made those cookies that I brought to Stephen and Maddie's place. Mm-hmm. I made like almost 100 of those.
Oh my gosh.
I made so many cookies.
Oh my gosh.
And I ate so many cookies.
I wish that there was more opportunities to have just like casual cake.
Yeah.
Because like,
why not?
Cake is so much fun to make, but like, it's only if it's a special occasion that you can like make it for something.
You know what? We're going to change that.
Okay.
We're going to have every day as cake day.
That is a terrible idea.
We're going to have like some days as cake days.
Well, okay, so maybe we just need to make events more worthy of cake. Mm-hmm. Like final
D&D.
Final campaign day, we need a cake.
We need a cake. And it needs to be happy in-game D&D.
Yeah. Yes.
You're listening to Almost Sisters, a podcast where two almost sisters discuss their weekly interests. It's the same thing they've been doing for years, but now they're in front of a microphone. And they're editing it and posting it with an audience. This is going to be trickier than they thought.
So Emily.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Kate.
I decided to delete my Facebook page and my Twitter page. I did so not as a, how a lot of people do, where it's like, oh, someone posted something stupid and made me mad, so I'm just going to delete it. Instead, I was like, I thought about it. I talked to you about like 2 weeks before I did it. I mulled over it. I watched this documentary, see?
Now see here.
I watched this documentary and it changed my life, you see?
As most documentaries do. I feel like, little side tangent here, I feel like documentaries are produced in order to invoke feels of life-changing.
Yes.
No matter what it's about.
Oh, yeah. I mean, really, I go on Netflix, I'm like, do I want to just, be entertained, or do I want to, change my life? And I'm like, I'm going to change my life today.
Documentary.
No, but
documentary about cartoon strips, doesn't matter. It's going to change my life.
It's going to change it. But yeah, I told a couple of my friends, and because they were like, what happened to you? Are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. I watched the documentary, and they're like, oh,
I get it now.
But yeah, the documentary was called American Meme, and it's basically about the culture of social media and stuff. There's a lot of nuance to it, as far as they really show specific people and their lives and everything, and I didn't really like that very much. I like more of the fear factor of oh, social media is ruining our lives.
Oh, this is why the world is terrible. Great.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it was a very conscious decision, because it's kind of I have a Instagram page where I post personal photos of myself. Of course, I rarely take selfies or anything, but about my life and stuff like that. But I think with Facebook and Twitter, it was just kind of Twitter was just kind of why do I even bother with this? It's just nonsense. Sorry for any Twitter lovers out there, but then with Facebook, it's just kind of I kept meeting people in real life who would talk about the stuff that they had seen about me on Facebook. Not in a bad way. Not oh, I follow this on Facebook. No, it's just oh yeah, I saw that on Facebook. Conversation done. And it's just kind of this isn't natural, this isn't healthy. And so it's just kind of with those ideas of just I don't like being everyone's oh, I'm keeping up with Caitlin because I see her on Facebook. I just didn't like the kind of antisocial culture that it's creating.
Ironic.
Yeah, exactly. That it's supposed to be bringing people together, but really it's just kind of, it gives people an excuse not to keep in touch. As I was getting rid of Facebook, they show you a thing where it's oh, well, these people will miss you, and it shows a bunch of your friends and everything like that. It's okay, literally every picture that you showed me, I have their phone number, their email, and I see them at least every month. It's they're not going to miss me
on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. People try to make it seem like Facebook is you have to have it. If you want to get invited places, you have to have a Facebook. If you want to keep up in touch with your high school friends, and honestly, who wants to do that?
I mean, that's kind of the reason, because as you said, we have talked about this before, and talked about deleting Facebook. And I would love to be able to delete Facebook, but so many other people use it as their only means to communicate. And so it's like, if I want to be able to contact people that don't see me very often, I have to have a Facebook, which annoys the crap out of me. I wish I could delete it, but it's like, as you said, people make events on Facebook, and so that's the only way you see them. The Facebook Marketplace is very annoying, but very handy as well, because I don't know how their algorithm works, but people see stuff on there all the time. I'm currently trying to sell a washer dryer, and I've had the most responses through Facebook than through any other means. eBay, Craigslist, Let Go. It's all been through Facebook. And so it's highly annoying that the rest of the world operates on Facebook, because then by association, if I want to have dealings with the rest of the world, I too have to be on Facebook.
Yeah. See, that was the thing that I didn't really realize how much of my life was like interwoven into Facebook until so how I deleted it was I created a email account, and then I put that email account in my Facebook account, and that was my only email related to the Facebook. Then I created a password that was so obscure that I could never guess it. I tore that crap up, and I deleted the email address. I cannot, for the life of me, open up my Facebook now. It's gone forever. Because the thing is that if you log in, it's suddenly like, poof, we've been here all along. You're never going to get rid of us. It's like, no. I'm getting rid of you. And I was determined. So yeah, there's no way. The only problem with that is that I still use the Messenger app. So now if I lose my phone, gone. I'll never be able to use the Messenger app again. And because I can't log in. But then also I had a lot of apps that were linked to Facebook. I had a lot of other website profiles that were linked to Facebook. Gone. But at the same time, so I had this whole, right before I deleted my Facebook, it was like the week after Christmas, when I was talking to my husband about this, where we were sitting in a cheesecake factory, and I was I was just basically having this identity crisis, kind of
in the cheesecake factory.
In the cheesecake factory.
As one does.
You gotta have some cheesecake while you contemplate your life. So he was basically just sat there silent the whole time. But I was like, okay, but what am I really afraid of? Okay, well, if I get rid of Facebook, I won't have connection with my old professors anymore. Oh, but I have their email. And I just was it was back and forth, pros and cons. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just scared, just in general. I'm just scared of what would happen. What would it mean? I've had a Facebook since I was 16 years old. But as I was talking, and of course he was saying nothing because he was just I'm just going to let her ride this out. That I realized is I don't, even with all that stuff gone, I can rebuild, or I'll learn that I didn't even really need it in the first place. So for instance, the friends that you keep up with that only communicate on Facebook, if they want to get in touch with you, they can get in touch with you. It's okay. If anyone thinks that they're going to lose contact with anyone by deleting their Facebook, people can contact you. It's kind of scary how people can contact you.
It's true.
People can call me through my Echo Dot. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I have a lot of problems with Facebook, but one of the ones that bugs me the most, and the reason why I don't get on it anymore, again, I'll get on it maybe once a month just to make sure I haven't missed anything, or if I need to update something as far as selling washers and dryers or, calendar events, whatever, what have you. My biggest pet peeve about it right now is how messy it is.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can't clean it up. It's all ads and just there's just so much going on when you log in. There's stuff everywhere, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing for me with Twitter, because I think Facebook was really bad, but when you looked at Twitter, did you ever have a Twitter account or anything?
I still have a Twitter account, and I'm slowly getting more used to using it because of recent social media changes that we can talk about later.
Okay.
But that's another issue that I have with Twitter, is that I can't organize it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I would go on there, And even just individual posts, they were just messy. Like, I don't even think it's just me being like a writer, English major or whatever, but I would look at it and it was kind of painful to the point that it was like there were no words spelled correctly. There's a bunch of hashtags and ats and things like that. And it was just like, I would look at one and I was like, I don't even know what this is saying right now. And the thing is too, is that a lot of the times it was just ads. Like people are just posting advertisement, whether it's about themselves or about anything else. It's like, oh, check out this at this hashtag, check it out, you know?
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, you know, part of that is who you follow, but to concede your point, I was looking through a tag today because of some big thing that happened I was interested in. So I wanted to see what people on Twitter were talking about. And so I was looking in the tag. And so it was only posts related to the thing I wanted to see, which is good. But there were, every 10 posts or so, there was a big old ad. And I was scrolling through and reading the tweets, and then I wanted to show a tweet that I'd seen earlier to a friend that was sitting next to me. And so I scrolled back up to find it. And as I was scrolling back up, I was like, there's 3 or 4 tweets in here that I just didn't even read because they're all so clumped together. It all just kind of like runs together. And so I missed stuff, which not to say I need to see every single thing on Twitter, but I'm just like, what's happening
it's
to
just
where
blurring.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to get used to Twitter, because the reason why I'm trying to get used to Twitter is because Tumblr recently, have you heard about this Tumblr thing?
I have not heard about any Tumblr thing.
Yeah, you're not on Tumblr. I forgot about that. Well, recently Tumblr has updated their I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's not like privacy settings, but it's like content rules. Yeah. Tumblr has recently updated their content rules and has decided that it's going to be a family-friendly website. Which anybody, you're not on Tumblr. Okay. You just made a face
I
like
know
that's
enough
crazy.
About Tumblr. Like just the bare minimum to be like, no, that's not. I don't like that.
So a lot of people on Tumblr, do. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to scratch that. Okay. So because they have changed their content guidelines, a lot of people have jumped ship. And so a lot of people, even if the content guidelines weren't going to affect them, they just didn't want to deal with the politics of it all. So they jumped ship to Twitter. And so a lot of the people that I follow on Tumblr moved over to Twitter, which is why I'm now trying to get into Twitter, so that way I can still see stuff from people that I used to follow. And it's a mess.
Yeah, and I think what you just said, I think that's kind of another advantage that I have with like social media is that like I don't care what they have to say. Like there's no one that I follow, except for, so with the exception of YouTube, that's the only one where I'm like, oh, I'm excited, whatever next thing that they post, I want to know. But the thing is, anyone that I'd follow on other social media, I follow on YouTube. And so it's just kind of like, so with Twitter, it's like, like I don't need to know this extra stuff. And I guess too, I think part of my personality is just kind of like, if someone isn't saying it to me directly, I'm like, I don't care. So
yeah, it doesn't sound like you have any need for social media at all.
Like that's the thing. Like I think it's something that I've really struggled with past few years, especially in college and stuff, where I always felt kind of out of the loop when I was in a social setting because everyone was talking about what they saw on social media. So it's like like what I said about people talking to me about my Facebook. It's like people talk about social media, and that's like all they talk about. And it's fine if that's what you want to talk about occasionally. Like you can fill me in. Like we had a conversation earlier, you filled me in. But like if that's just like the back and forth, it's like you know the background of everything, and then someone's like, oh, I guess I'll just sit over here in the corner. So it's like I kind of, with that mentality, I kind of ostracize myself in a sense with like our age group, which is like 20 to 30 kind of people that follow a lot of like like Forrest, he is on Reddit all the time. And he's like, did you see this thing on Reddit? I was like, I don't have Reddit. Stop asking me. Like, I used to, but I don't. I got rid of it when I got rid of Facebook too. And so I was like, you need to stop, like, just assuming I know this. If you want to show me a video, great, that's cool. I will enjoy that with you because that's a social activity. But I'm not just going to, it's like, I've listened to my students who are like 12 years old, and they're talking about Fortnite, watching it on YouTube. And so they're going back and forth about this YouTuber who plays Fortnite. And if you listen to their conversation and you didn't know the context, you would be like, what are you talking about? Because they just use the context of their like social media, like, oh, well, did you hear like him on Facebook and like this and that, and they just like, it's like a whole nother language almost when you're not like in it. So anyways.
I mean, I feel like we have different opinions on this, obviously, because you are describing that conversation, and I'm like, yeah, I had a conversation like that with Paige today. Because the reason why I keep on different social media platforms is because of my varied interests in stuff that's kind of obscure. I mean, it's not obscure on the internet, but in real life it is. And so it's like, okay, the only place that I can find people and content to talk to and watch about that thing is on the internet. If I want to hear about K-pop, I gotta go on Twitter and Instagram to like see what's going on. If I want to hear about the new season of Boku no Hero, I have to go on Tumblr and like see what's going on. It's like the only way for me to get the news about the things that I'm interested in is through social media. And so if there's other people that are also interested in those things, they get their information from the same outlet too.
Yeah. I think
and so we end up having conversations like that of like, oh, did you hear about this new season that's coming out? And it's like, oh, well, I saw a post that talked about this. And so it's, yeah, you're talking about your social media in real life.
I think it wasn't really, because, I mean, honestly, that kind of thing could relate to, like, if you saw the latest movie or something like that. But I think what really bothered me about it was less of the fact that, I don't think I explained that very well. I think I gave a pretty poor example. It's just the fact that people have experiences through other people kind of thing. That's kind of what I was trying to say. Like, these kids don't play Fortnite. They watch other people play it.
Yeah. Oh, like, okay. So they kind of take, like, this person went and did this thing, and it's like they themselves did it vicariously through them.
Exactly. So, yeah, I explained that horribly because, yeah, I think what I was saying kind of sounded like I was bashing that idea, what you're saying. And so, no, it's just really just, like, people going, oh, I've experienced this. But you haven't, though. Like, you can experience, like, those shows and everything else that you follow through social media because they're there. But, like, there's that middleman with a lot of social media stuff. And that's what I've always found with, like, Twitter and Facebook with the people that I follow, not just the friends, but even, like, again, with people saying, oh, I saw this on Facebook of yours. They just use that as a middleman to where it's just like...
It's like, I haven't told you about it.
Exactly. Like, there's more to the story. Like, we post, like, little snippets of our life, but you're like, oh, I know everything. Like, there's this one friend that I had. She couldn't make it to the wedding. She said, your wedding was beautiful. It looked amazing. Everything like that. And, like, that was it. I couldn't, like... wasn't like, so tell me about it. Like, what happened with this? What happened with that? She was just like, I just loved your wedding. And I was like, you saw 10 pictures. There were 700 pictures in total. Like, what? So, yeah, it was just kind of... I'm really pinpointing on that moment just because that was kind of an eye-opener. But it was just really like, you know, I've had moments with friends where it's like, oh, well, it feels like we've been keeping up because we've, you know, posted things on each other's Facebook and stuff like that. And it's like... No, like, it's not the same. You're not getting that real connection. You're just kind of having this in-between. So, I was actually going to say that I asked my niece if she was doing the whole, I think it was called TikTok. Now it's called Musical.ly, or is that reversed?
I think it's opposite.
Okay, so I was asked her, is that Musical.ly that you're doing? And she was like, no, it's TikTok. And she, like, rolled her eyes. So it's like, you're 11. like,
don't give me that.
What are you doing? When I was 11, I was playing with mud and, like, pretending to be a wolf. Like, what are you doing? So...
Oh, those are the good old
Those are the good old days. Kids these days. No, but like, I think it's just I think the thing is that I worry about social media with the next generation. It's not really like kids these days, because kids aren't any different. It's what's around them that they have access to, and what parents who didn't have access to this stuff don't understand.
So I'm sure there have been other social media platforms besides Facebook that we've gone through and tried out.
Yeah, so the great mystery of my life is Snapchat.
Same.
I do not get it. Like, okay, I'm feeling like we're like maybe like halfway through this video or this podcast episode, and I'm already like, oh my god, I'm like a 70-year-old woman. But even so, there's 70-year-old women who get Snapchat, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Now, I have installed Snapchat twice on my phone, and both times that I've done it, within about a month, I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, like I'll post a video and or like a picture or whatever, and I'm like, it took so long for me to like get that right, and then it's gone in the day. I don't why. I can just do Instagram though.
Yeah, I think one of the big reasons why you and I don't get or like Snapchat is because we don't really like taking selfies.
Yeah.
And not to say that Snapchat is all selfies, because it's not, but it's a majority of it.
Or people talking to the phone in selfie form.
I mean, the filters are all about front-facing cameras, and like that's half the fun of it. And so it's like, if you don't really want to take pictures of your face, then you don't have much to do on there.
So you want to know like the majority of my time spent on Snapchat? It's just being really bored and just laughing my butt off at like going through all the filters and like making the noises, and like it's so much fun, but I would never post that stuff. Like, so it's just like every now and then I'll be like, I wonder what new filters they have. And I'll just go on there. I will try out every filter. and then I close it. And I never post anything.
You get another 2 months or you don't open it.
Exactly. And I don't look at anyone's posts. Like, people will send me stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to look at that. Because I don't want to like show you that I've read it. And then I'm not going to reply. So I'm just not going to open it. Because I don't care.
I mean, because I tried the second time that I installed Snapchat, I really tried to get into it. Like, I tried to learn the platform, I tried to learn how it worked, and like, because a lot of YouTubers that I like are on Snapchat, and so I'm like, oh, it's like a mini YouTube video that I can like watch in between their big YouTube videos. And I don't get it. I don't know how it works. I had to have my roommate from college, who has a sister in high school, who teach me how to use Snapchat. So I basically had to get a high schooler to teach me how to use Snapchat, and I still don't get it. And I just don't think I ever will. I tried to like teach my mom how to use it because she tried to get into it, and it's just, I don't like the platform.
I think the platform like Snapchat only works if you are constantly on it.
Yeah.
I think it only works if like every single day you spend at least, you know, a bunch of like 5-minute time slots to be able to go, okay, this person posted something. Let me look at that. Now I'm going to post something to me. And then I'm going to build the storyline. And it's just like, the thing is, for me, it's like, I look at social media, like YouTube and Instagram, which is the only thing that I have now. I have Snapchat only for Bitmoji that I send. I like take a picture of the Bitmoji, and then I will put it in my Messenger app, and then I just send it to people. But anyways, with Instagram and YouTube, and even before when I had the other ones, it would really just be like in the morning before I started getting ready for work, or at night as I started winding down. And so there wasn't really, and it's really like, I don't want to be actively involved. I just want to be able to just look at things. Like with Instagram, it's great because I'm like, oh, pretty pictures. And like sometimes I'll read the comments, but most of the time I won't. And so it's just like, you know, and I can be like, oh, I like that, or I don't have to do anything. And so, but with Snapchat, it was just like so invasive, I guess.
Snapchat requires participation.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I don't want that in my life, because then people can see if I read it, and then they send me stuff. And so it's just like a whole bunch of stuff. And so it's just like, I like being able to just passively look through Instagram and not also like, I think too, like I didn't like the ultra personal stuff people were posting. Like, not even like anything inappropriate, just like, hey, this is my life, look, this is my grandma, this is my baby. And it's just like, I don't care. Like, one, I don't care, but two, it's like, that's too personal. I don't know you like that. So
I mean, like, not to say that Snapchat is bad, because like I wish I understood Snapchat, because there are people on there that I would like to be able to like see their snaps and like talk back to them in snaps. I don't know if that's the link.
I was about to say, that sounds right. I don't know if that's actually.
But like, I've tried to use it, and my brain doesn't work that way. I can't do it. But I wish I could.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that it's kind of, we are all kind of convinced that everyone should be able to do social media, but the fact of the matter is, it's like, even with our conversation, we've realized that we're totally different with how we view social media. And it's like, I don't think it's bad. It's bad for me. I don't think overall it's bad. I mean, I know that there's some dangers to it and stuff, especially with like, younger kids. But, you know, if you just want to spend a bunch of your time on the social media, I said the social media.
You did.
But if you want
kids on them social medias.
Social medias over there. But, you know, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, Emily spends so many hours, and I'm just over here, like, I'll check Instagram like 5 minutes a day. But like, you know, I just think it's kind of like, you have to be able to tell yourself, and this is the whole Cheesecake Factory thing. Is it right for me? And the answer dwindled down to no, it isn't. And so, yeah, so I think the thing is that when a lot of people go, oh, Facebook isn't for me, then they take the whole high and mighty, Facebook is terrible.
I'm getting off Facebook.
Oh my
Give me an award.
But then like 2 weeks later, they end up back on Facebook. So
yeah.
So it's just like, so I think it's just kind of like being able to like look at it rationally and just kind of understand what it is and what you're wanting out of social media. I think that's another thing that people don't understand is like, what do you want out of it? Like, and also, is this healthy for you? Right. Because there's a lot of people that we're friends with on Facebook that the way that they're posting was not healthy. And so they were like attention seeking, and it wasn't like, you know, it's like, oh my God, and they just want attention. It was like, no, like they were like, oh, I'm taking this prescription drug because I'm having this issue with my mental.
Like, why are you putting that out?
Exactly. But it's because people want that sympathy, and it's like, or like when I'm sad, and then people are like, oh honey, why are you sad? And it's just like
no, because it's from people that, I mean, because I'm sure everybody's friend list is like this on Facebook. It's a bunch of people that they don't talk to, and so it's like they're out there fishing for people to just give them what they desire instead of just like contacting somebody that they can trust and being like, hey. Exactly.
They're not getting any meaningful stuff out of it. They're just getting like, oh, that kind of feels good now because everyone's like paying attention to me. But then the thing,
it's temporary.
Yeah, same thing happens next week. But if you like go, oh well, I'm gonna get off Facebook, I'm gonna go talk to my mom. You know, it's so much, you know, healthier. But anyway, so it's just kind of like, I think it's just kind of, we each as individuals need to really reflect on, you know, you have really great reasons for keeping up with social media. I had really great reasons for, I mean, in a sense, because I think that, you know, you really care about being able to be contactable, if that's a word.
Yeah, I think it is a word.
Yeah, so in you know, and keeping up with all these, you know, kind of obscure things on the internet. But for me, it was just kind of like, you know, if someone cares enough to contact me, they will figure it out. Like there's somewhere along the chain that can, you know, get my number. Yeah. So.
But I think, you know, with the whole, is social media right for you? I also think that there's different social media platforms that work for different people, because you know, as we've talked about, Twitter is kind of messy for the both of us. We don't really do Snapchat. Like Landon and Forrest love Reddit, but like I hate Reddit. I can't. I don't understand it. I don't know how to use it. I don't like it. But there's other social media platforms that I love. Instagram, Pinterest.
Oh, Pinterest. Yeah, we haven't even brought that up.
Oh my God,
love Pinterest.
Okay, so favorite social media?
Pinterest.
Mine's Pinterest.
Yeah. That's probably
100%.
Yeah. I had to actually delete it from my phone because I was spending so much time on Pinterest. And like, so now it's like I can only look at it if I'm on my computer, and I'm like, I have two monitors, so I can have like Pinterest on one side and actually be doing work on the other side.
Well, it's just like, we kind of talked about this the other day, but like I Pinterest things instead of Googling them.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I ever need to find something, Pinterest. Like, it's just,
Because, I mean, it probably won't always be this way because it's getting to be so big, but it's just like right now, it's refined enough to where it's like I get exactly what I want. And if it's like, if it's not on Pinterest, then nobody's done it before.
Yeah, then I can make it.
Yeah. But it's like, it appeals to my soul because I can organize everything exactly how I want to. I can have categories for things. I can like name them and just like be creative that way and just like I love Pinterest.
I have my whole house planned out. My future house, it's all on Pinterest. I have it categorized by rooms. So I have a bedroom board. I have a, so it's just like, yeah, Pinterest is amazing because the thing is that you can avoid the crap. Basically, like if there's like, okay, so for a long time while I was planning the wedding, a lot of like romance stuff came on, like, oh, he left me and it was so sad and la la la, you know, and it's just kind of like, I was like, okay, I don't like this. And then Pinterest was like, oh, okay, we got it. And so they stopped showing it. Yeah. And so then once my wedding was over, they stopped showing me wedding stuff because I was like, no, stop it. I'm done. I'm a little bit traumatized. So no.
Yeah. So. I think that I admire that a lot when social medias have a don't show me this option because that shows that they are not just like throwing whatever they can get you to look at you. Yeah. They're like trying to entertain you the way you want.
Yeah. And that's the same with like YouTube. Like you can say, what was it? I'm not interested. Yeah. And so that's really nice too. Cause like, it's funny cause I'll go on Forrest's YouTube and I know immediately that's not my YouTube. And then I go on mine and I was like, oh, beauty.
So much better.
So many things I can watch that I want to watch. So, and that's a great thing too with like, you know, with Pinterest and YouTube because there's so much stuff out there. And so you can really just immediately find what you want. So you're not wasting a bunch of your time and you're not getting like icky feelings by things that like, no.
Yeah.
So I think those are probably my two favorite platforms.
But I think it also appeals to us more, as does Instagram, because it's more picture-based. You know, those other, at least Reddit and Twitter that we talked about, they're more text-based. And so I think it's kind of like the whole, like, everybody learns differently. I think different social media platforms appeal to people more. And it's just interesting that that kind of psychology goes into it. And it, you know, I don't know. It's just interesting.
It is interesting, yeah, because it's kind of like, you know, Forrest will see me doing Pinterest stuff, and he's like, what are you doing? And I see him doing Reddit stuff, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's like, again, it's not bad. It's not to say, like, oh, people that are on Reddit are stupid. It's like, no,
it's just their thing.
Yeah, it doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, and then too, like with Reddit, like there's like subreddits and stuff. Like there was like things that it would just be pictures, like it'd be funny pictures, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But then I didn't want to like deal with the whole Reddit thing, so I was like, I can just look up funny pictures somewhere else.
You can look them up on pictures.
I can look them up on pictures. So, but yeah, and I think Instagram is kind of a midway point between like Pinterest and YouTube and then Facebook and Twitter, because I mean there is that you know, the picture based stuff, but then also, you know, whoever you follow is what ends up being on there. But the thing is that it's so easy to like know exactly what you're getting into with Instagram, because you go on their profile and you can see like weeks worth of posts, and so you can kind of like look, do I want them to bring this kind of stuff up on my feed? No, so I'm not going to follow them.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice because then you can kind of pick and choose what you want. Whereas Twitter, you don't really, and Facebook, you're not really sure what you're getting into because you can maybe see like just that week's stuff. And so, yeah. So I think Instagram's kind of getting kind of close to me, kind of about that stuff, but it's good enough to where as long as I play it right, it works for me.
Well, I was very disappointed, as was a lot of the internet, when Instagram changed their algorithm from just like most recent posts to posts that they think you want to see.
Yeah, that was annoying.
I'm really disappointed that they did that.
Yeah, that is annoying because it's like I wanna just see immediate stuff, but then they're like, oh, you like this person's thing 3 times. Here's all their stuff, and it's like, I've already seen this. Like I don't.
And they'll show you. It's like, they will show you somebody's post that they did recently. And then right after that, it's like, okay, the one they did last week and the week before and 2 months ago and 3 months ago. And it's like, wait, no.
No, I don't.
I want to see what recently has been going on. I don't want to know stuff that was 4 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that.
Just because it was popular.
Yeah, like the past couple of weeks I've been like, why are they showing me 2 months ago posts? Like, I've never scrolled long enough to get like further than a month. Mm-hmm. Like I've never been on that long. And so I was like, what's happening? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that was kind of annoying.
Yeah. So I wish they had an option of like which one you could opt into. Mm-hmm. Like, cause I mean, you know, how you operate files on it's like, do you want them by most popular, and do you want them by like most recent or least recent, or how do you want them? And so I wish they had like a filtering option.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah, I think by now we kind of know what we like and have enough, at least for me, I feel like I have enough sources for the things that I use social media for that I don't need anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it gets to a certain point where you're just stretched too thin. I think that it gets to a point where it's, one, unhealthy, and two, if you're wanting to keep up with this stuff consistently, then you just can't. Like, you just don't, there's not enough time in the day, unless it's like your full-time job. But like, so for you, so what are your social media sites, and what is that like what you're gonna stick to?
So my social media sites are Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube are my big ones. Let me open up real quick and confirm that. So Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube. Again, I've been trying to kind of do Twitter and Tumblr back and forth, but they're a hot mess right now. But, you know, I think I've gotten to a point where I get what I want out of those, get the information that I need, and by now I know what kind of social media I like. And so if new ones come along, I'm probably going to be able to very quickly tell if I'm going to like it or not. Yeah. And, you know, that might be a little closed-minded, not trying it out, but at this point, I don't need another thing to tell me the same thing over and over again. I get a lot of repeats already looking at both Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. For me, it's YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest, and those are pretty, it's just kind of, I think it's pretty cut and dry there. I do still have a Snapchat, but again, it's only for Bitmoji, and then occasionally going like, oh, it's the filter, oh, I'm gonna be stupid now. And then I've never had a Tumblr, deleted Twitter and Facebook. I feel like does WordPress count as like a social media site?
Well, WordPress is a website builder.
So so no, because I know there's like a feed thing and I never go to it. Okay, so yeah, so YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram, and those are really kind of, I feel really well-rounded with those. Because I think just kind of, I can keep up with the people I want to follow. You know, I can post my own content and I can just find anything that I need, recipes and things like that. So yeah, I think beyond that, I'm just tired, Emily.
All this social media is wearing me out.
It's just wearing me out. Like, I can't keep up. Like, even when we were like teenagers, you remember, I was just out of the loop of things. So it's just kind of, you know, it's just never really been something I've been able to get. I'm an old soul. What can you say? I like knitting and sitting by my cup of coffee while I have a book open and the fire burning in the fireplace. I'm gonna stop now.
Social media is ruining that.
Yeah, I think it's also too, like, I don't know, I do like deal with like anxiety and depression and stuff like that, and so I do know that there's like things on the internet and stuff that if you spend too much time in that world, it can kind of affect that stuff. And so it's just like, and that's another thing, it's like, I kind of want to kind of have a PSA for a moment, very quick one, that if you do have anxiety and depression and you're constantly on social media, get off for a little bit, just see if that helps, because it's just kind of, you don't need that in your life. You're already dealing with enough. So anyways, PSA over.
Thank you for that PSA from your local neighborhood Spider-Man.
Pew, 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 pew.
All right, Kaylin, what's your most recent obsession?
My most recent obsession is what we talked about last week.
Same.
So listen, like the day after we recorded our podcast from last week, I went into like decluttering our entire apartment. So me and my husband got married in August, for those of you who don't know, and we just bunched all our stuff together, plus getting all our registry stuff, plus living in a 700-foot square apartment, only having one closet, one bathroom, everything like that. And so it was just very much time to consolidate. And so I spent so it was from Friday to this Wednesday, I spent just decluttering. My sock drawer is amazing. Wherever we end up posting this, I'm going to put links to my pictures because I'm very proud of it. So it was just kind of like every day I was like, I'm going to do the living room. So it's going to be books and video games and whatnot. And then I'm going to do my office space. And then so I kind of just went that way. And so I didn't follow it necessarily straight through the
I'm tisking at you. How dare you break protocol?
The KonMari method. I ended up, because when you live with someone who's not like doing it with you, you gotta like choose like the trajectory of like, okay, you can't use the living room today because I'm doing this. Like I'm putting all the books on the couch. I'm putting all my socks like on the floor. Like so. But anyways. So I ended up doing that, and then right at the tail end, we donated everything yesterday, and then I started getting into my next obsession, which is probably going to go on into this next week. So my second obsession for the week happened pretty much right after I finished with the KonMari method. Is that the right way to say it?
just the KonMari method.
I just wanted to make sure I said it right. Okay. Was the career and kind of life of Justin McElroy. So I'm wanting to create a company that I'm currently naming Blab and Scribble Studios, and the basic idea of it is to bring a bunch of creative types together, and that's essentially what Justin McElroy did with his brothers to create Ma Bim Bam, and then led to a bunch of different other projects, and now they're doing what they love. Basically because Justin was like, hey, why don't we do this stuff together? So yeah, I just wanted to give that little blurb. I might talk about it more next week.
All right, cool.
Yeah. What about you, Emily? What's your obsession of the week?
My obsession is also an obsession that I've had for a long time. For about 2 years now, which is not that long compared to others. I have really been into K-pop. And recently there has been a lot of new developments on the Big Hit Industries side of things.
Ooh.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, Big Hit Industries is the parent company of BTS, which you've maybe heard of BTS before. Not if you're
boys
Caitlyn.
That sing?
No. If you're like Caitlyn and live under a rock, then you don't know who BTS is.
I know boys that sing. I know them so hard.
Name one of the members.
There's boy 1, and then there's boy 2, boy 3, boy 4, and boy 5. Right? I'm sure there's 5 of them. There's always 5 in a boy band.
There's 7.
Boy 6 and boy 7. Of course. How could I forget 6 and 7?
Okay, I'm going to be ignoring you now because obviously you don't know Caitlyn. Anyway. So Big Hit Industries is a parent company of BTS, and they have announced that they are they have announced that they are debuting a new group this month, which is very exciting news, and it has been a big hoopla all over the internet because they are debuting each member one at a time, 3 days apart. And there's a lot of code and secrets involved. There's like Morse code in the premiere videos, and it's all a big mess that's causing me and my coworker to
lose your mind.
Maybe a little bit. But it's a lot of fun. It's interesting that they are having all this marketing that drives people back to their website and to their YouTube channel every 3 days to check on things and see what's going on and see what's new. And it's just very interesting. And I think Big Hit Entertainment, I don't know who they have working in their marketing department, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. I mean, another thing that they've done, which this is like recent obsession of the day because I just found out about this today. BTS has been making these music videos that have a very similar feel and a kind of plot line running through them. They've been making music videos like that since 2015. And they've always been very cryptic and very obscure, and so people have a lot of theories about what ties them all together, but nobody has really known for sure. It's all just been fan theories. But they announced this month that they are creating a webtoon to explain the full story. And so the first 2 chapters, as of today, is, what is today? January 17th. Yesterday, the first 2 chapters came out. And so people all over the internet are freaking out about finally all the threads being connected of these plot lines that people have been guessing about for years now. And it's genius on the part of Big Hit Entertainment because, they've released 2 or 3 albums since they've started doing this. And so people are more interested in their newer stuff and watching newer stuff. And so people don't really watch those 2015 music videos as much anymore. But now that these webcomics are coming out, people are going back and rewatching them all over and over again to try to see all the little details and pick out things that they missed the first time. And so it's genius on the part of marketing as far as getting people to go back and watch old content. But it's also exciting because the story is really good.
They're playing with you, Emily.
That's fine. I accept that.
That's good. As long as you're okay with it.
I'm fine with it.
You're in the know. You accept it. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I might have to check that out so I can know what the obsession's all about. And
if you want some recommendations, I would happily give you some.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that's Caitlin speak for no.
We'll talk about it later. Oh my gosh, in front of the fans.
No,
okay?
the microphone. God.
Jeez. But yeah, and then you check out the video that Justin and Travis McElroy.
Yeah, no, I will. It sounds very interesting, and I love their stuff, so I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Okay, cool. And for all of you guys who, if I end up editing it out, I did not know how to say McElroy, so Emily corrected me, so that's why I'm saying McElroy weird.
McElroy.
I said McElroy, and I feel like I'm still right, because it looks like McElroy.
It does, but they have made it a point multiple times. It's like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
McElroy.
Don't make them mad.
I won't. Well, if I make them mad, maybe they'll talk to us.
Not that way.
You look so sad. Not that way.
Thank you for listening to Almost Sisters. I'm your co-host, Emily.
And I'm your co-host, Caitlin.
You can follow Caitlin at authorcsloanlewis.com for her blog and c.sloanlewis on Instagram. You can follow me on YouTube at the channel name Did You Make That? Caitlin, should we do an outro?
No, not today.